then you go. Don't forget, you need to take the controls of this now.
Yeah, gotcha.
Nice.
But I don't have to. Cool. All right.
All right, Alaa.
Kes, how are you?
How's it going?
Good. You seem like you've chilled out a lot since
Me?
last time I've seen you. Yeah.
Oh,
You seem
man,
very
like-
relaxed.
I've chilled out and I unchilled and then I chilled again and then I unchilled again. It was like a roller coaster. And I guess I'm chilled again now. So you caught me on the right time.
On the chill time.
Yeah.
Very cool. Is it the diet? What is going on? Is it the lifestyle?
With me?
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, it's just like facing existential crisis. That's all.
Oh shit.
Yeah. It's a minor thing, you know. But yeah, I'm going through like something like huge rearrangements that's happening inside of me, you know. The shadow integration, you know, just like facing my dark sides and
Oh really?
yeah, and shining the light on them, like admitting that they exist.
Oh, so you're not like just chilling, hanging out with them. Like you're
Oh.
like, oh no, let me show you what's up.
No, I mean like because if you don't, there's that very knowing sensation, the feeling that you have. It's just like you know, very like you know the prickly socks. You know those socks that are just way too prickly
Oh yeah.
and just don't have to be.
It's like a little annoying.
It's like, yeah, get this off me, you know. I get it, it's warm, but get it off me, you know. So that's like that. It's that feeling of like, this something's not right. So then you gotta face it, and it's like not pleasant. There's like a lot of unpleasant feelings going on.
I see.
But you gotta face it. Like, okay, I can just, you know, get drunk or whatever, and not face it, run away from it. But you can't run away from it. That's the thing of it.
At some point, you're gonna have to be the one that deals with it, right?
Yeah, but you can just face it, and then they go away. That's the magic of it. Like that's that fear of some sort of like a pain or whatever. But if you just let that be, and not run away from it. No, everybody thinks that meditation is just about like I'm in bliss. Like some meditations are super rough. You know, you go in through some dark things, dark corridors inside your consciousness to see everything there. You see?
Like you don't want to sit there anymore. You want to get out, but you still like endure it, and that's what's going on when you're sitting down.
Yeah. Well, if you're sitting down and not facing it, like what I mean, like meditating, right? Sometimes I have meditations that are very painful. They're unpleasant, and because I have to dive into that really deep, unpleasant sensation.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to face it, I dive into it, and that's just how you dive into it. And usually at the end of it, it kind of evaporates, and then you come out of the other side, and it's kind of wow. It's like blissful. It's nice. It's like you resolved. You sort of like deleted one of those viruses that you had. You know?
You shed that little bullshit off, you know? Like you took it off, you took it in, and then you looked at it, and now you're fresh.
Exactly. So this is what I'm doing. I'm going through the existential crisis and reframing everything about their existence and reality. And I guess that takes its toll. But it's a fun process.
It's like a workout,
try it
right?
sometimes.
I should try it sometimes for sure.
Yeah.
It's been a minute, you know? But that's probably the times that you should be more focused on it and things like that. But I think everyone's going through an existential crisis right about now.
Yes, I noticed that. That's pretty much something that you gotta face it too. Can't run away from it as well. And I think that's why people are so bothered by it, because it's not obvious, you know?
Wait, what is not obvious?
That the change is happening with every one of us. Like but it's sometimes when you're in the pond, being a fish, you don't know that you're wet, you know? So that's why you need to kind of zoom out from the pond through meditation and, you know, psychedelics and weed or whatnot, right? Like you got to just get out of this and see the pond from the side. And when you see the pond from the side, then you can say, oh, here we are. I'm that fish right there. Say hi to myself.
Yeah, definitely. It's all a charade, and people need to realize that they're so involved in it, and when you're so stuck in it, you don't see it for what it is.
Yeah, exactly. But it's all perception. Like if you change people's perceptions, they're gonna behave a certain way, right? And then how do the perception change in people? Well, through the data that they're exposed to, like media. What kind of media they're exposed to? I mean, because this is just direct programming of human mind, and then they behave exactly how you program them to behave.
Mm-hmm.
And don't expect any other
like,
results.
it's true, like, yeah, media, because it's funny, like in the US, the media, like CNN, whatever is, and NBC, they're like looked at as a point of they give good value content.
Yeah.
But like internationally, every country has their own media channels as well, and everyone knows it's just government channel.
Yeah.
But like the perception is different of like how the crowd sees it, because it also provides such good content. Like Fox, for example, does Fox Sports. You know? So they've kind of like mixed it all together, where if it gives in good content, it must all be true. Whereas in other countries, there's like a wall of, hey, I'm government, I'm telling you the news.
Yeah, but if that's the only information that we have, for example, and if people choose what information to consume, and then we contrast that with YouTube, right? Where I could actually watch other people, and then how much of this actually driven from people actually being exposed to this new information, or how much of it is that people are starting to smell through the bullshit, and sort of like their intuition is waking up and say like, whoa, nee, that's not right, let me look at somewhere else.
Yeah.
What you got to say about that?
I mean, it's just alternative point of view, like it's just like going to the doctor, you want to get a second opinion.
Yeah.
And when things don't align, you see that there's something fishy going on. And especially like the past few months, I think the media has gone like full force, a little bit too exaggerating.
Mm-hmm.
That it's like showing that it's been bullshitting the whole time.
Yeah, it's like too many ends don't meet.
They're trying too hard.
Yeah.
And the fact that they try too hard makes it seem like, I'll give you a great example, right? Like we're all affected by it. We're all forced to lock down. I was on the way down here. I had to stop at 7-Eleven at the gas station. I forgot my mask in the car. They didn't let me in. So it's like I can't get away from it. You know what I mean?
It affects you.
It affects you even if you don't want it to.
Yeah.
And that's just perception. But the fact is, the same news source that tells people, hey, you have to wear a mask, you can't go outside because you need to protect other people, says you can go protest, but you can't protest about not having a mask.
Exactly. So when there's so much in contradiction there, then this right there is a red flag of like, okay, what is going on over here? It just doesn't add up. And then you get curious, and then you start looking for the information. And the information, the best information usually comes from, for some reason, from individuals who are free. Like that they're not bought, they don't work, they're not afraid to lose their jobs, they're not afraid of anything. They're free individuals, and then they share the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like usually a good link that I've noticed, that
there's no hidden motive behind it, because they're not trying to make any money out of it, or like they just want to share it to like get other people's opinions, or if they're seeing the same thing.
So they're interested in truth. Like this is like their quest right now, right? That's essentially what they're doing. And then if you want to find out the truth, go with the people who are trying to find out the truth, right? Just watch them, because that's what they do the whole day. And that's actually a simple solution, but a lot of people say, "There's so much confusion. I don't know who to believe." Well, go and believe the people who are looking for the truth, and like you can intuitively find them. Like you can sense who's intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, who's a little bit more inclined to speak authentically. Like you have intuition, you get it, right? Like you know who's speaking authentically and who's just and never a monkey bought by the corporate. You know?
Like a tape recorder.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
just press play.
Exactly. So you can tell the difference, and people like intuitively follow the people that they feel like they can trust.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and only very naive people can see that they're being manipulated. You know, but there's a lot of them.
But the thing is, honestly, like, I used to think that people are a little bit more aware or they'll question things. But, like, this lockdown exposed a lot of people that seemed like they weren't as gullible either, but they are. And it's because they took the responsibility out of your hands and say that you're a danger to others. So now it's like, oh shit, maybe it's not true, but
Yeah.
and now they're
it's-
making everyone police against each other.
Yeah.
And
It's ninja manipulation.
Ninja
It's a ninja level
manipulation.
of manipulation. It's like a chess, like a 3D chess that is being played. You know, and you can tell.
And
You
it's
can
so
tell.
obvious at the
Yeah.
same time. Like, it's like, for example, if since the whole financial crisis just happened, things like that, and then if you bring up that like the economy just downturned, people think that you care about money more than other people's health.
Right.
But then, if you look at the economics, billionaires have grown their net worth by $434 billion
yeah.
in the past 6 months.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
how long is that? Like, if you work every day, you're never gonna make 1 billion.
So then it kind of boils down to the class warfare. But it's a clever one. It's a psychological one. It's that's what it is. It's like, hey, I am taking higher hierarchy. Why? It's because I out clevered everyone and I rigged the system. Haha, suckers. You know, like that's essentially what it is, isn't it?
I mean, it is. Yeah.
But and they're saying like, I hacked the game. You know, I hacked the game. But yeah, that's exactly what they do. Like they hack the game, but most of us perhaps just want to play the freaking game. Like, you know what I mean? You don't need to put that mode where you just can pass through everything and it's not interesting anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, can you imagine what kind of satisfaction out of life they get?
Just
know?
like power and control, you know?
Yeah,
like,
but there's never enough. Like you
it's
don't
like
get
a predator all the time.
Yeah, it's like exactly in the survival mode the whole time. It must be exhausting. You know? No, yeah. People don't think like that, but
Yeah, must be exhausting.
But all they gotta do is just level up to different higher chakras. If they just level up, you know, then they get to see things differently, and then they get to have different desires.
Well, what makes you think that like the richest people in the world haven't had those experiences? Like they can get anything just like that.
They can get anything just like that. Yeah, exactly. So, I guess at some point you want to create a game again of some sort where you can just get just like that. You know, how far can you go? And then you see like, and then you go into the extreme, like, oh, what can I not get more? And then you go into the freaking perversions and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Seems like what's going on right now.
because never enough. So you go extremes. But if you just
Yeah.
dial it down a notch and just realize, like, hey, you know, you don't like you just got carried away, man. Just come back. Look, you know, you can play the game and chill. Right? That's the way I see it.
I see. I mean, yeah, you just want to push limits, you know, and you want to see how far it goes, and that seems to be the game that
Yeah, it
some
seems
people
like
are playing.
they're playing the game that they're not knowing there's another level. They're just like, hey, why you keep running the same shit? Like this, it just gets exhausted and boring.
Well, you
Level
know,
up, bro.
Well, you know about like Project MK Ultra and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously they snatched a bunch of people off the street and also like
Oh yeah, just like casually did
tripped
experiments
them out on LSD.
with mind and with mind altering substances.
Yeah, so they had all this knowledge for the past 50 years at least, and obviously that's infiltrated into media and what we watch and things like that, you know? So they do operate from that perception, at least the US government does, you know? And it's kind of like foolish to think that that's not been the case since the beginning of like the US being built. because
Yeah.
you look at the dollar sign and it's all like sacred geometry and things
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
I was gonna ask you
which
about
is-
that, man. Sacred geometry. Like, so you got into that, the whole rabbit hole of sacred geometry and how everything is structured and why there's groups
mean-
of organizations that are into it and stuff like that.
I mean, like, not even that. Like, I grew up in Saudi. Like, Islamic culture is very sacred geometry art
Yeah.
things in mosques. But
Yeah.
like when I took acid, like when I've tripped
mosques look a little bit like dicks, right? Like
on, churches do.
architecturally.
But I guess they have
Mosque.
the dome.
Yeah, they have the dome. Either this or a nipple. Like that's
Maybe a
like that.
nipple more so. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess.
Maybe.
But yeah, they do. Like inside and outside, it's all about geometry and all things like that. So I know there's a deep connection. Like that's when you draw. That's the natural structure that the art brings out from these cultures. And
Yeah. A lot of sacred geometry in architecture. Is that what you say?
yeah, but also in the design and the way we see things.
Yeah.
But I've also like when I first took acid, no, not my first time, but like maybe my third time when I was smoking a lot of weed, when I closed my eyes and like laid down in a dark room, I could literally see like geometric figures forming in front of my eyes. But they weren't like a clear image. It was always like going into itself, but it was clear geometry and like shapes and lines and things like that. So from that moment, like I knew like it's like light induced from within, but like not from an external source yet. It's very clear and it's in geometrical shapes.
Uh-huh.
So
Is that
there
what you
must-
saw?
That's what like
Yeah.
I vividly saw, you know?
Yeah.
I close
That-
my eyes, I see it. I open my eyes, I don't.
Yeah. It's you actually observing the code through geometry. Like this the whole at the very basics is a mathematical code. It's like it's a script running. It's a program, right? But you can visualize that program through sacred geometry. But there's actually a code. You don't actually see, ones and zeros and whatever that code is. But it's actually a code that you see. That's what's really going on when you strip everything else is your perception. Behind the perception is just going to be a geometries and stuff like that. For example, when I was trying DMT, I didn't get to have the full experience. But when I was trying out, my friend's body just went into geometrical figures, like turned into like a Legos, right? Like and then you got sort of from less detailed to less detailed, less detailed. It's like software, when your graphics generated by the software. At first you just need to have the most basic one, right? Like all the geometry of the stick figure. And then you put more complexities, like okay, what are the
you add more detail,
more detail. So I just kind of was seeing how just detail by detail everything's got stripped off, getting stripped off into what's really going on, right? And then eventually it's just sacred geometry, lines, fractals, and stuff like that. That's what's behind.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because you're still aware and seeing where he is,
Yeah. So it's just kind of chipping the reality away one by one. And then you realize, what I called reality was just my perception. That's my software. And what's really going on is just the code running. It's a super complex code. And then you see the freaking code and say, what the,
So as a human being, you have access to that.
As a human being, you have access to that. That's crazy, right? To be able to understand yourself as a code. Like that's the Mario level 1000. If Mario could become self-aware, that would be high level Mario.
Yeah, I definitely. It's but don't you think there's a?
But that's why. Do you believe that this was meant to be? Actually, that we never meant to take this serious. Like we should, because kids from the early age, they're very, very in tune with both worlds, this matrix and the phase, they're very in tune with both worlds. But obviously, as they grow up, parents and people around them just say, hey, what the hell are you talking about? There is no this entity, little friend that you have over there that's made up. You know, is it made up? Because then when you grow up and you start having some spiritual experiences, you see like, wow, that may not be as made up as what they were depicting, because you could have your own little entity friend experience on psychedelics.
Yeah.
So then you kind of understand kids very well.
Yep. Kids know it's all a game. But
Yeah, they do.
And everyone's playing like an act and a role.
Yeah, exactly.
But as you become adults, they try to tell you like a policeman is not just a guy wearing uniforms. It's an actual person.
Yeah.
And then kids don't know that it's just another person. It's just doing his thing.
They become more of a character that they were playing. They get attached to, like some actors in the Hollywood.
Yeah.
They sometimes get attached to the role that they're playing. That when they're not playing, they are pretty much running the script of that character. And like this guy who did a Terminator. What's his name?
Schwarzenegger.
No, dude, like this Chris. This really good actor. He got a lot of Oscars and stuff. Man, it's the end of my tongue. It's
I'm not very familiar with any actors, to be honest. It's probably the best for me.
Movies? You don't watch Hollywood movies?
I used to when I was growing up. I used to watch a lot of TV shows. Since like 2012, I don't think I've watched more than 50 movies. And I feel like life is more of a movie right now. And if you really dig deep, it's just movies have been trying to program you to a certain direction for them. And like, yeah, there is some entertainment aspect and things like that. There are some stuff that I want to watch, but for the most part, I feel like they're just making you more susceptible to what they want to do. And so you have less resistance because you've seen it. And like a lot of people that I talk to, they're like, oh, because movies and TVs are so real now, I don't really need to watch the news because it's the same stuff that they're talking about anyways.
Right.
So it's kind of like they learn 80% truth.
Right.
And they assume that is true.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that builds their framework.
Then you realize that, okay, if this is made up, then this got to be made up as well. Like that's the elegant logic. That's like strip all the bullshit. Is like, oh, if this is made up, and it looks exactly like this, then this gotta be made up. Then you realize it's all made up.
It's all made up.
It's all made up. That's elegant conclusion right there.
Yeah, so we have this game that we're playing every day. As kids, we know it's a game. And when we grow up as adults, we have a choice. Either we want to continue to play the game or we get kicked out of the system. But at some point, we got stuck and we're just continuing to feed the system. And if we continue this way, there is not going to be like capitalism, democracy, anything like that. It's going to be a technocracy. Like there is no way around that. Because
well, there's I thought of the technocracy idea, and I thought, okay, well, two ways that it can go, right? If it's under control in the hands of the people who are not consciously aware and they're still playing like what I call like a lower chakra games, the survival, power, sex, and all that stuff, right? If they're still playing that level, but they wield the technology that determines the fate of the humanity. So they should not be handling the wheel. This is what I'm saying. They're not conscious enough to deal with the machines and the technologies that are so powerful. You know what I mean? If the technology would be truly self-aware, as a completely separate mind, then of course it would very easily change their dynamic, because they would just outsmart it. And then in that case, it looks like it's almost inevitable that this is going to be self-governing structure. There's going to be self-governing. We're not going to have a governor. The technology itself is going to be one mind that is governing everything in a self-governing way. And the technologies that we can take to get there is decentralization of power, decentralization of money. Bitcoin, is doing that. Decentralization of sharing, sharing videos, photos, all the content. It needs to be decentralized because no one no one organization can own that platform. That platform is supposed to be just like email. We're leveling up over here, right? Yes, exactly. Because we have technology and ways to do it that we don't have to have the corporation dictating the politics and the censorship of this platform. The platform needs to be truly free, decentralized, because otherwise, if it's not decentralized, then you can skew the opinions, play the marionette game.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't have the marionette game anymore, right? Because they won't survive in this new AI anyway.
Yeah. But I feel like that's also been part of the plan, Like, they're going to try to, like, give the illusion of decentralization through corporation. Like,
but again, with the illusions, I think that's
but
because
what I mean is
there won't be, when people start seeing behind the veil,
mm-hmm.
then they see through the illusions and they say, oh, okay, I look, like, you can't lie to me. I mean, I've been through a few things. I had some experiences and I understand things now, right? And I can tell that this is not how it is.
Yeah.
And just simply by raising your consciousness, you can easily distinguish what is real and what is bullshit.
Yeah, but my question is
intuitively, not you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. But like, it's gonna take some time for people to give up control. Not, for example, the AI. Yeah, you build it, but where are the IoT technology gonna come from, and the machines, and who's gonna build it? And it's all the people that already own the factories.
Yeah.
And they're the same people that are holding on to power.
Yeah.
So
no, that's what I mean. Like, that technology cannot be wielded as power. You see, if we really thinking that it's going to be like what Ray Kurzweil is talking about, singularity, right? Where the machines and the technology mind becomes so much more powerful than a human mind, right? Then of course it takes over because it just self-improves very quickly, and then within 10 years, 50, like the exponential improvement in technology is just mind-boggling, to the point where you can run the simulations within the simulations in a completely like perfect way.
Yeah, like the problem solving is so fast.
Yeah. And it seems that there's one possibility that that I thought of, is that we may have another dimension to add it to this dimension, and that would be a virtual reality. That biology as we know it was going to go away, and then we will be something very different. Our consciousness is going to be maintained, but our body is just going to go away, and then there's something going to be appropriating some sort of different form of energy, and then it's just welcome to Matrix within Matrix. And it could be that these realities are just keep nesting on top of each other, you see, like you see what I mean? Because through the spiritual experience, for example, when you go through from this physical body, then you go into the energy body, right? Then from the energy body, then you go into the light body, and then from the light body, you go into the freaking one with everything in the universe, right? The unity, the source, whatever you want to call it, God, But essentially, you're at the basis of the code of the creation, and that's why it feels blissful, because it's home, that's like what you really are underneath.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you go into fraction into light, which could be just data, light body could be just data running back and forth. That's just abstract, Then you have energy body, where you will start having the shapes. You have shapes, but it's not solid at this point, right? that
Yeah.
type of reality there. And then you go into the physical now when time and space exist, and now everything's solid. You know? You see how it's nesting like matryoshkas? So who's to say that we're not going to create a world within the world? One more time.
Like a VR simulation.
Yeah, and it's just going to be world within the world. Because look at the tendency.
But why would you want that?
It's not like what I want. It seems like it's a tendency of the universe.
I see.
It seems like that's the code that is just going to have another reality within the reality. It seems like it's propagating, possibly indefinitely. Because when you look at our universe, it could be just budding off of another universe, another universe, another universe. It's just nesting. You see, this is what I was actually contemplating in my mind, that we could be living in the nested endless simulations. And it's just fractals of the fractals of the fractals of the fractals.
I mean, I see your point. At the same time, like, if this universe itself is so vast from what we hear, it seems like we're trapping ourselves in a little corner by
you see that
off.
Because it doesn't really matter when we create this world. We create in an exact way that it needs to be created, and then we play it. It's just like a video game, right? Do you think how many more realities like that exist? Like infinite more realities just like that, not just like that, but similar to what we have now, but perhaps completely different. Perhaps Earth is red. Perhaps like we're lizards. Like infinite possibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's been a lot of other times, just don't know, you know?
Yeah, so that's just think about it as a different game being loaded. You see how, like, I really like that video game simulation theory, because it does seem like it's all about the games. Everything boils down to me, to the code, to the script, to the program, to the game. And it's just everything you structure in this life becomes a game. And basically what I'm trying to say is that if you structure everything as a quest, as a journey, as a game, you're going to have a hell of a good time. I'm just saying, like, maybe that's what everything else is, you know, in this physical body, energy body, light body, and then whatever other dimensions.
Other dimensions.
Yeah.
So you can, like, go flying or something?
Yeah. Well, the flying part is you're talking about just like in the lucid dream or out of body experience.
I have no idea. I've never flown, so
You never tried that?
yeah.
I did. I flew around.
Flew around.
Yeah, it's
I like walked through the walls.
look, like the difference between the physical world and over there is, you know, the hologram.
Yeah, I like the holographic universe idea.
Yeah, so this everything is, let's say, a hologram. For the hologram to exist in this 3D, it needs to come from the code and has the mirror image of it somewhere else, because that's how it's being generated.
Yeah.
Right. So you can have the image over here, and so then you have the imprint image over there. So then when you leave your body or have lucid dream, you literally can explore this reality, but through in the energy field. It's no longer physical field; it's an energy field, and it's the opposite. It's like a reflection. So, for example, when if you saw how physicists see the universe, you see this big cone going there, right? And then the cone is actually torus. And then everything that you see in this physical, there's a mirror image in the energy department, so to speak. So this is where you go. You don't actually go there physically, but you go into the energy department of the mirroring that reality, because this is where it's being generated.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people are into like astrology and things like that, right? That are also into
Yeah. That's
they put zodiacs and
yeah. That's what I call that part is they're going into in understanding how the code is being like executed. It has laws, right? The sacred geometry. The trees has certain ratios. It's specific. There's beauty. There's elegance there, and there is a code for beauty.
mm-hmm.
There is a code for beauty. right? It's there. So then you can observe that. Since you can observe that it's the constant, it's exact same ratio every single time. Then you say, okay, these are the constants in the universe. So let's see if we have the constant. Maybe I can have a little bit understanding of my life as in a prophetic way, as a prophecy. So then you're looking at the sacred geometry of how this stuff is consistently arranged into this sacred geometry, just like the tree has the same ratio. I see exact same things going on with the stars. Okay, now can I know what's going on at a certain time of these fractals in the positions?
Mm-hmm.
Well, one thing you can tell that it's like a clock that is going, that it has the pattern. That one thing you can tell for sure, that there is a pattern. And if you understand what kind of patterns are repeating, you can understand what's happening in each period of time, because time is like structure. Do you see how time relates to that as a code?
How does time relate to that as a code? I mean, I see that there's a lot of periods of mass like stuff happening, and then there's a lot of chill periods, and then there's some of it within the other. So from like a geographic sense, at the same time, like the Earth, like
when you're looking at the astrology and looking at the stars, what are you doing? Then one variable is time. You're trying to figure out what's happening right now,
mm-hmm.
in respect to what was happening when I was born, for example. Okay, and then we're looking at these patterns, and they're looking at these constellations, and they're looking and they're trying to say what's going to happen at that point, based on understanding of what's going on. So then you're trying to tell the future, and then you say, like, if I can tell the future from the sacred geometry, then it means I can tell the future. And it means the time, by the regression, is a construct of that.
I see what you're saying.
There is a construct of the sacred geometry. You can deduce it to that.
Interesting.
Dude, this became so deep. Holy shit. But I like it, man. I like it. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if it's... we can definitely take these clips out and post them and see. Maybe somebody gets it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people that are aware. I mean, it just seems to me like there's a plot against us knowing what's going on, and it's on purpose. Like, just going back to it, like, yeah, you've know these things from experience, and also you had the curiosity to dig in yourself. At the same time, it seems like if you want to learn about these things, there's a purposeful like filter, like a wall of knowledge.
But it's usually...
Other people don't want you to know this knowledge. For example, like religion is the easiest one. Don't drink alcohol, don't drink anything. You know what I mean? Like...
But do you really think it's that?
I think it's more of a hogging thing. Like, I want it for me and not for you.
So basically, it's from the world of scarcity, of trying to have more control over the thing. It's coming from the animal realm.
Yeah.
Just like
my territory.
My territory. I have more kind of thing. It just gets out So yeah, that's what I mean. That you cannot take the animal levels anymore into this reality. You can't do it. Like, it's not compatible. You're not gonna have a good time. And you can drag a lot of people with you with that paradigm. I mean, you're going to drag a lot of people with you into that paradigm that no longer works. And, people can end up fighting each other and creating situations worse for themselves. Because in reality, like, if they wake up and they realize that, holy shit, we don't really need a big papa telling us what to do. It's sort of like, look, there's a sun, there's this that we can actually grow food, like, and we have technology, so we can make shit work really well. We can have a nice economy. It seems like a seems like we got everything we need. I think we can take it from here, because I don't think that your ideas are working out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but who's you, right? I think it's a mental state in people.
Well, it's that you would need to pretty much to do things not how the government does in whatever way. For example, if you want to create that type of culture, that type of community, then you're going to have to do things in a different way. I don't know, maybe you can create a state that behaves different from other states. I don't know.
I mean, they made one. Have you heard of the Communist Republic of Chaz?
No.
No? Oh.
Communist Republic of Chaz, they made the country?
They made a little country inside downtown Seattle for the past 2 weeks.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's so cute.
They put a little, they have borders, they have security. They ran out of food the first 2 days, though.
Of course, man.
They asked for donations.
You need to know what you're doing, man. You don't build a community like that. Fuck. What are you doing?
So that's happening in downtown Seattle right now. It's been going 2 weeks now. Yeah. And they're fighting inside against themselves, it seems, already.
Yeah,
so it's not working out pretty well.
No. That's not. You can't build everything underneath that, man. That bridge is not gonna hold.
Yeah.
No.
So that's happening in the U.S. And yeah, the media just says this is happening, and they're just trying to starve them out, and then after like 30
everything to
days,
me is a zombie nation. It's like everybody is acting in not exactly how they want to act, and they feel weird, and it just they're not free, And the country itself, like when the economy got corrupted in 1916 with the dollar and shit, like all the good stuff that why people wanted to come to America slowly start withering away since that happened. And then the country losing more of its, like, what it was really built on. It was kind of withering away as well.
I mean, but it's been a long plan in the process, like.
Then look at America now. Like, if you look at America now, if you paint America now, holy fuck, that's like a drug addict, control freak. There would be a very bad emotional situation if you would be psychologists evaluating a person.
Well, that's the thing, right? There's two things going on. Like, the black community, like, are pissed about police because they bring the drugs into the communities, and then they arrest people, and then everyone gets fucked up. Yeah. So it's like the government pays for the drugs to be in the hood, and then they go arrest people in the hood. But it's all on purpose, because once they fill the private prison industry, now they use them for slave labor, because in the Constitution it says you're a free man as long as you're not prisoner.
So get trapped in this incentivized system. The system is in control.
Oh yeah, that's why rap is all like gangster rap, because they want people to act in a way so they destroy things so you can take them to prison, and the government pays these private prisons every time you have a new person.
Man, so it's a racket.
Oh yeah.
It's a racket. It's not cool one. It's not a cool racket at all.
It's predatory.
Yeah.
Yeah. But people think, like, I've walked through some of these protests, like, people think the solution is to vote for it. Which is I think
its solution is within themselves. It's changing their perception. It's like realizing that, my reality is what I let in. So, for example, especially now with the technology and everything, you can say like, I don't have to, use Google. I can use Proton Mail because Google is selling my ass, okay, that's not fair. Excuse me. I'm just going to take my ass over here to myself. You can use Proton Mail. Then you can take all the, like I said, all the ads away. All the all the ads and all the mainstream media. Like, if you want to get information, get from the individuals who are free, not for the corporations that have agendas. So just split that and just say, okay, so these are the people that I'm going to follow. I know that that's their job to figure out the truth, so I'm just going to follow these guys, right? And I'd follow a few, because if I follow one, then I can get a skewed view. So you follow these truth seekers. And then get rid of all the rest of the media completely. Like, all of it.
Yeah.
You know, like if Twitter triggers you, don't be on Twitter.
You watch it just to see what fun is going on.
Or
right
better
now.
yet, get over that fact and realize that, okay, if something triggers you, this is about you. So then, okay, so you get your act together, and now things don't trigger you, right? Or you don't expose yourself on a thing that affects you in a negative way.
Mhm.
Now suddenly you have a better mood. Then you realize that, oh, there's probably a lot of shit going on, but I don't even know. But my perception is great. You see? So if each individual will start taking responsibility of their own perception as what they let in their reality that becomes real,
yeah.
then you could have a huge portion, and let's say, I don't know, 50% of people behave like that, and that's it. So then that becomes a standard reality.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
As I said, like if nobody watched TV, then nobody would have known there was a lockdown or there was a virus.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
what's the difference
exactly.
outside?
What are you trying to, so you can occupy yourself exactly with the things that you want to do, and the system is not really holding you down. You can just isolate yourself and create your own little environment, and with the other people that do exact same thing. So then I think it's these nested environments already happening. These, and they're already living free lives through the technology. Just because they outlaw things, they think they're gonna go away. They're never gonna go. Nothing never ever goes away. It just goes into the underground. So now that you don't see it, you believe that you fixed the problem. You didn't fix the problem. You created a completely different underground. And you see what I mean?
That's the war on drugs.
It's a war on drugs as well. Yeah, on many things. It's it becomes an underground. Like the consumption of that doesn't go. Like when they legalized cannabis, the consumption of cannabis did not go up. Because everybody's already been smoking.
Of course. I mean, like, actually, black markets increased.
So, like, how stupid to go out there and say, like, oh, look, this, we cleaning streets up, with the marijuana.
I actually think it's all a perception. Like, I'm in the industry, like, the legalization. What's happening now is after it's been legalized, the prices are way high. Taxes are insane. So they know people are trying to go into the black market, like find their friends, whatnot.
Yeah.
But what's happening is now they're raiding all these underground grows.
Yeah.
Now they're raiding all these basements that are growing in California and all over. So now the black market is drying up and the prices are going up.
It's the economic wars, man.
They're just trying to steal all that tax money.
Exactly. It's not necessary. That's what I mean, that we cannot go with that route anymore. Like, we have to build our own perception and take our own perception to ourselves. And live the life the way we want it. For example, we can exchange anything we want with all these from person to person. That's why another advice would be, don't deal with the big corporations, deal with individuals. Like if you can buy something from individual, like, a farmer, a small farmer, or something, then
that's
buy
the ideal way.
Yeah. So then you have your own, whether it's digital community, maybe it's the physical community that you only, survive by yourselves,
like your local community.
Yeah.
Like, I think, like, now more than ever, people should support their local businesses, because where are you gonna get your food? Like, once everything supply chain is shut down.
Yeah, but then you have to say no to Big Papa, and you have to say, like, hey, no, we're gonna have our own little community. What are you gonna do? Gonna kill us all? Like, we're just trying to. We're not doing anything. We're just not playing your stupid little game. Because we know that's rigged. We want to play a fair game. So it's like that needs to be born in the human consciousness and grow, because that's the only way that things gonna change. It has to start from the inside. When that changes.
Yeah, and like you attract what you seek, So like as an individual, like if you just don't attract bullshit, like it's just not gonna come. Like it might be happening around you, but you're gonna be okay because. Like that's what people, like very religious people, call faith or something, right? And like sometimes, like, you still might like get the wrong end of the shoe, but like you weren't in fear like until you got there. So, but I think like in the US, like my experience, it's tough. Like when you talk it. Because like everyone uses the term conspiracy or whatnot, but it's like, dude, like just spend 5 minutes and Google it, you know? So it's like, it's hard to convince people because they don't want to look into it themselves. And there's a culture of we have to agree with each other. And if you have a outside opinion, then you're not okay. I'll give you a great example.
Exactly. It's the status quo. It's trying to maintain itself. The system is trying to maintain itself. And that's why
I was at the park in LA the other day. Some guy was driving into the parking lot with a Donald Trump 2020 sign on his car. Literally, some guy walking past it got pissed off and started shouting at him, "We don't need Trump in California, blah, blah, blah."
Wow.
It's like, dude, like, mind your own business. Like, go do your own thing.
Like, we don't
You
need
know?
Trump in California.
Like,
what are you talking
He
about?
could talk about whatever he wants, first of all, even if you don't
You
disagree
have no
with it.
idea how much balance you need. You need something to keep the balance, you know? And it doesn't mean that, you know, these people are
Yeah.
going to take over, but damn, you need fucking balance because you're getting out of line.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all it is. So it's good. It's good that these
But there's a social pressure and people aren't reacting because of that. A lot of people, I've realized, especially in colleges. Like when we went to UCSD, like there's signs everywhere around campus. For example, if you want to like have sex with a girl, get consent. Like, and there's signs all over the classroom.
Very
and it's like,
romantic, man.
yeah,
Like,
that's fucking. Do I have to ask you, like, do you want to kiss? Yes. And then if that's not it, then you can't do it. Like, that's the propaganda you're fed, you know?
I'm so sorry for people who need to live in this environment. Like, it just takes all the fun out of it.
Yeah, like robots.
Exactly. It's like, so check over here if you want to do this pose, and if like there might be some over here, so check over here.
So
That's ridiculous.
that's the generation, you know, that's coming into the workplace right now.
Yeah, workplace again. That's another thing. It's like, why people don't realize they don't have to be slaves. Like they don't have to have a
Well-
workplace. They can create stuff on their own and exchange value in a fair way.
Yeah.
That's what also it's so easy, you know, so simple.
Yeah, like if you do something you don't like because you want money, what's the difference between you and like a prostitute?
Exactly.
Like,
That's
what's the
well
difference?
said, my friend. Yeah, put that on a t-shirt.
I've had that thought a lot. I'm like, I'm literally whoring myself out if I do something I don't like.
Don't
'Cause,
hoard
like,
yourself out.
What the hell?
You have some self-respect. I mean, after all, like, do you want to? That's how you want to spend this time on this planet. Like, is that the time? Is that the way you want to spend time on this planet? You know, because if you're telling yourself that there's no other way, then I mean, you're trapping yourself into that.
Yep. Well, I mean, I want to talk about money for a second. Like, you say that technology and Bitcoin is great and things like that. But at the same time, like, there's been times when we didn't need money, you know, because the earth is abundant. For example, if you live in a
Maybe, but now we
rainforest.
have Bitcoin, so it's even better than no money.
Yeah, but the illusion, like, money also creates separateness because...
Well, yes, but let me tell you something. There's no more closeness than doing business in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's so intimate because, like, there's trust involved, you know, in the sense that, like, if I, if let's say you do a job and, you know, like, you know what I mean? It's that it has to be trust again, because it's almost like it's a push transaction. It's not pull transaction. Right, so you better get a good job. You get the good job done, because if you don't, then you don't get paid. And over here, like, no, it's then the quality of the job goes really low, because, like, they can go half-ass and then they still get money, because then you have to go and try to take that from them. So it becomes like a little bit more intimate, and it's like it's personal. It's personal because you talk with the person, you do the transaction. There's a different feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very personal, and there's a different feel to it. Yeah, I guess that I've noticed that on myself.
Is it different from, like, giving someone a stack of gold?
It's like digital gold. It's like you know that you're giving something of value, and you know they value that as well, and they know that it's fair, and that's sort of maybe subconsciously knowing that, oh, we're actually participating in the fair economy, and maybe that sense brings the closeness, because like, oh man, I can relax now. We're participating in the fair economy. It's a person to person, and the value that we're exchanging is actually been contributed, not made out of nowhere. It's something deeper. I just have that sense that this is very intimate, and I think this is what's going to connect people economically in the future, when all the fiat blows over, because every fiat that ever existed disappeared. So let's not kid ourselves. Dollar's not staying here for too long.
No, it's not.
Mutating into something else, and I hope that once the dollar is gone, that Bitcoin becomes a world currency, because the first country that adopts the Bitcoin and starts realizing how important that is to their economy, because everything is transparent. You can't cheat with Bitcoin. So you can have the honest country, like literally everybody can see all the transactions. They see where the money is flowing in the fair way. Nobody can cheat. And that's what's probably is the scariest thing. Is that you can actually have a country with a fair economy going on. Yeah. Where nobody needs to worry about getting robbed. Everybody can get relaxed. It's like, oh, if I create the value, I get paid in a very appropriate amount. Okay, I can relax now. So then you start chasing for that money, because you know that it's not something that it keeps going away, which it is with the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you consciously understand it or not, it keeps going away from you. So you want more and more and more. It's like that. It's dollars like cocaine, man. Once you get that hit, you keep going. Not that I know anything about that, but I see on other people.
Yeah, $100 bills are nice for it, apparently.
And Bitcoin is sort of like a weed mixed with psychedelic. That's what it's like. Bitcoin is psychedelic for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's a code, it's a protocol that is going to tailor human behavior. That's the fascinating part. That it's almost like been printed in by God, because it's just going to change the behavior of humans. It's like, okay, guys, you acting out. Just, well, I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to type this code in here, and that's going to be enough to change your behavior, to stop acting against the balance of the universe. Try to one up the universe and be sort of clever instead of playing a fair game. I guess, I don't know, maybe that's even a game. But I know that it's not going to be allowed anymore, because it's just too much devastation, too much conflict. It's not a fun game.
Yeah, I mean, how long do you think it's going to be like a Bitcoin adoption? Because I know cryptocurrency is coming, but I don't see Bitcoin leading the race in terms of corporate push.
Push? Yeah, but what you see and what's really going on is two different things.
Yeah, they are two different things. There's two, there's people that are have wide access versus people that have small community that are strong.
Yeah, Bitcoin does have a problem with the usability and ease of use, because right now
it's too slow.
It's it is kind of too slow, and it's too encumbering. Like people when they say like, oh, so I have to do that, I have to do back this, and so I can never lose this key, because if I lose it, then it's done. Where do I keep it then? Like if I keep it on the computer, maybe it gets hacked. Or if I lose computer, if I keep it in the hardware, maybe that gets stolen. Like, and then you keep on like that person with not the person, but the squirrel with the nut. You just keep worrying about it. You see. And but the solution is that this shouldn't be kept anywhere outside of your body. It should be inside your memory and your biometrics.
Yeah,
like a little bit of memory, a little bit of biometrics. So if you can have that imprint inside your body, you're just going through the world chillaxing, because it's inside your body, with you the whole time. See, so that little upgrade is necessary for Bitcoin. And if they get that done, then everybody can trust themselves to be their own banks.
Well, they are working towards that, and that's what people are kind of angry about that they're combining biometrics with blockchain with.
Yeah, but that's, I don't know for what reason they're doing.
Hmm?
I don't know for what reason they are doing. I'm saying what I just described, that it's for the reason of using Bitcoin in that matter.
Well, they want to create a digital ID for everyone, and they want to combine it with your biometrics,
Yeah.
and they want to give you your private key, so it does seem like it's yours. But at the end of the day, if you don't have it,
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about straight to Bitcoin, like no layers even. For example, right now they did this Bitcoin improvement protocol or something, right? Improvement proposal, BIPs they call them.
okay,
And then there was one where you could have 12 seeds, because the key is so difficult that you can't remember. So they made it like easier for the humans to carry in their memory.
mm-hmm.
So there's like a 12-word seed.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so if you memorize that or back up, then that's great. But still, if you back up and you didn't memorize it and you forgot it, and that somehow got destroyed, it's still not good enough to have a full trust in yourself being your own bank. So then you move a level further and say, okay, if it's the memory that we're relying on right now, and it's still too difficult for humans to retain, we have to combine the memory and biometrics, right? And that's all we got to do. And you can do that on the Bitcoin blockchain directly. Just like they gave you this 12 words, they can also generate, the link between, your biometrics and the memory. But anyway.
Interesting.
But Bitcoin itself needs to do it.
Yeah, who's working on it? Nobody.
I don't think so, but that's if you get this done. It's not. I don't see it as I'm not a great blockchain expert, but I've talked with blockchain experts and say it's possible to do it on the blockchain directly, and this is exactly how it needs to be done, because Bitcoin is not supposed to exist. Like, I'm not supposed to keep my Bitcoin anywhere on my computer or anything. It's a little bit in my memory and in my biometrics, and then you bring it down to the memory of, let's say, 3 to 4. Biometric points, and then there's a combination, right? So let's say there's my thumb, my pinky finger, and then maybe my eye, and then a different thumb. Okay, so I can remember this is pretty easy, right? It's like this, eye, this,
It's like a Masonic handshake.
Sure, whatever. You can make anything you want that you don't forget.
Yeah.
And you're not going to forget that.
Yeah.
You see?
It's unique.
It's unique, and you can hack that because you need to have the combination and your biometrics. Okay. So you get the point. Now people can use the Bitcoin truly free. You know what I mean? Like if you want me to pay you for a Bitcoin, paying you in Bitcoin, and all you have is your phone. It doesn't matter. It's just like a terminal. I'm going to just punch in whatever. Or, if you do it in person, but if you're not doing it in person, you can just, you go on your own phone, use it as a terminal, unlock, send, done, transaction complete, and that's it. But I can do it on any phone. It's because it becomes like a terminal.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So all you need to carry around is you.
Exactly. All you need to carry around is you. And that's worth of improvement. I mean,
that's what they're trying to do with vaccinating everyone and microchipping everyone and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's the same concept. Just locking you in.
No. It's not the same, because at that point, they know the information.
Yeah.
In this, what I've described, nobody knows.
Just the blockchain.
It's the opposite of what they're trying to do. They're trying to, we're going to chip you like a sheep. And over there, you're saying that, no, I will have a direct link to my wealth. There is nobody in there in between. You see? And then now I don't need to trust anything. I need to trust the finger combination or whatever. So that kind of relaxes people down. And then you can have the economy when when the wealth is directly linked to you, And nobody knows that information. No, that's what I'm trying to say. It's the opposite. So you cannot be chipped. They cannot observe you. You know, because if they can observe you, when they can pick up this information. See, it's all about tyranny and freedom. It's like this balance, right? And I feel like we're headed towards the freedom. And so I would not use the word technocracy because it's not what it is, but it's some sort of technoarchy or something. It's where it's anarchy and technocracy in one, because nobody's in charge, but everybody's in charge at the same time. You know?
Yeah, so it's your choice to be a part of the system and be in charge as well.
Yeah. And then that means that all the groups and communities that created within that reality then becomes a like a nice and clean ones and fun to play, where when true humanity can arise, you know, where nobody triggers you, when it's just like you grow up seeing nice and beautiful things. Yeah. And you're having a different problems, you know what I mean? Like different level problems. I don't think we ever if we ever run out of problems, ever. I mean, this is the whole existence is the problem solving principle, because it's a game. The whole existence is a game at all the levels. In here, in this 3D, in your soul, and in your spirit, everywhere. It's still a game, because you're gonna be bored. You're gonna start solving problems like puzzles. You start playing video games.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you had anything you want and you have all the time in the universe, like what would you do? You probably do what you're doing right now.
Yeah, just chill, enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, like you would play Alaa Alnaji.
Yeah.
You would say, holy shit, I need to play that character. I want to try that out.
Yeah. I mean, I see your point for sure. But sometimes.
Well, tell me, if that's not like, what would you, like, if you have anything you want, you have all the time in the universe, what do you do?
I mean, I'll do what I'm doing right now, yeah.
You'll probably do what you're doing right now. That's the scary part. Because then you realize, like, holy shit, maybe this is exactly what I chose to do. Maybe this is perfection every second of the moment, because this is what I chose by being able to do anything I want.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely things that are outside of what I want to do. Like, I would rather be fishing, for example, you know? Like, there's some things that I would rather be doing with my time. But
what about the woman? Would you rather have a monogamous marriage, or would you rather have like polygamous marriages?
Well, if I'm like I'm Saudi, I can have 4 wives, so obviously I can like.
So you're already off the hook, man. You're
off the hook. It's just,
you're in the right club.
Exactly, we set it up well for ourselves.
See, over here, the closest thing to that is being Mormon.
You can have 6 wives though, so
yeah, but it's like it comes with so many strings attached. That like I don't know if it's worth it. I mean, maybe it's worth to create a different club. I'm thinking I'm gonna start a different club.
Oh, what's it called? Anybody?
I don't know yet. But I know that there's love is a little bit more free.
Yeah, like imagine if you didn't, like, memory wasn't a thing and you're just in the present moment, then you wouldn't have monogamy. Like an animal, like a lion or like a cow.
No, yeah, because I don't believe in. I don't think that. I think we're. Well, I don't know if I told you. I'm going to share something with you. You know, I was looking at chakras and how they relate with sacred geometry and all these different theories behind that, and obviously linking with the game theory as well. And then I realized, like, okay, what if I look at the existence as a code? Like, what is the first chakra? What is that frequency? Because it is a frequency. It's like, what is this? What is running there? And I would realize, it's the code command survive. Survival game.
Mm-hmm.
So root chakra is survival game. Then you go second chakra. What is it? Sexual. Reproduce. The second layer of code. Reproduce. See, it's the problems that the game imposes on the reality. It says, okay, first survive, second reproduce, then and it has a very specific code on the reproduction. I'm gonna get to it. Then the third one is wealth, power, and money. That's the third chakra, solar plexus chakra. So it's associated with that. So then you start playing power games. Right, so that's the level 3 game, and then you go into the heart chakra, which is transitional chakra between the lower 3 ego chakras, and then upper 3 Dawa chakras. I call it. I coined that term. I don't know if it, and if people like it, can use it. It's no copyright. Just use it. So, yeah. So then the fourth chakra is associated with heart, right? So that's relationships. It's a game of relationships. Okay. And then we have a sixth chakra, which is associated with self-expression. Throat chakra is expressing yourself. Because, people who have money, good relationships, then they go into, I need to self-express, all right? That's the level 5. Then level 6 is the third eye. This is where your intuition opens up and you start seeing things before they happen, and you start having all these weird powers that you're starting, realizing. That's the game of intuition. So when people were like kind of realize that, the self-expression is great, but this is so much cooler. That's like the mysticism of that and everything. So then that's the game that they play. And then once they're done playing that, once they figure the reality out, then they go into the seventh chakra, which is wisdom chakra. And it's a wisdom game. When you realize that, everything is a game. So you can just relax and just watch everybody play their little games. And I'm just going to play that game of being like a wise man over here and sitting and meditating the entire day. And that's like those gurus in India. They level 7 game, and life is bliss. So corresponding to all these chakras, the fourth chakra is the relationship chakra, right? And then the second chakra, right? So look at the completely different levels of the game. Complete different codes of the game, and both of them has its own pull, right? Its own gravity. So now you have one relationship gravity, which is like having this. You would like to have one partner that you're in a monogamous relationship, right? Because like you're sharing the journey, like that type of aspect, and yet you have this another game that is running in the background that is also wants to reproduce and impregnate as many females as possible. And for females, vice versa, to have the highest quality, male specimen kind of thing. So there you go. So you have these conflicts that's going on, and that's why all the drama, all the movies, everything that we've ever made about love, it's about those two chakras.
It's like contradicting itself.
In culture is not integrating those two chakras. It's not integrating them. You see, but that's why I'm just looking like if those two chakras get into the same kind of tandem vibration. If ever happens, we would need to have a different culture, because we cannot. It creates that problem in this culture and that tension. Maybe it's not a bad thing because it creates all the drama and people love drama, But if we want a harmony instead of drama, then we're gonna have to have completely different culture, where all the jealousy is now being turned into passion, and the way it's done. No, the difference that I see in this culture is that you're integrating those two and being honest about that, where you are also like the monogamous, sort of like marriages, right? Which is your life partner, but you maintain the sexual realm of it, honest, right? Meaning that. Right. I don't know, just a theory, but I think it's going to be like, if you want to have like a family or something, but then you go on the dates as a couple, so then you continue dating while you're in the marriage. You just balance those two out. So it's something like that, or where it becomes sort of like that's the level after. I think is going to be where all the people live in the same kind of small, and I don't know what you call them, but
like a tribe.
Yes, little tribe is like 5 men, 5 females, and they all live together and they make love in whoever wants to. In it's
Pass
just
them around.
yeah.
Yeah.
you can yeah, sure, we can call and pass them around. No, but it's like a different level of expression. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you
It's open.
it's open, yeah,
The
and it's
shared
not
economy.
yeah, and it's not open in the way that it's just it's if you really look at the honest way, this is the most honest way would be, in my opinion, you know, because otherwise you have to lie about that shit. Or if you would like, I don't want to lie, but then if you tell the truth, then it's culturally unacceptable. So then people get upset. You know what I mean? So, but I would rather keep telling the truth than live a lie. You know, and if I need to be honest about myself, then you know, then and I can accept your honesty. And
Yeah, I think it's just a cultural thing, you know, like we've been, as I said, like work takes away time from free thought. So at the end of the day, people don't have time to think about it, so they just keep living. But even the family unit is like, it's a something I think by Christianity or something. They want to have family units, so you're faithful to like one person and things like that. So it's easier to organize society.
yeah, in a way, but like what would be, excuse me, what would be your preference? What kind of structure would you have in time? Like what kind of love structure would you have, if you will?
That's a tough one because for me, I'm like mixed. So it's not about like maintaining my like clean blood, you know, or bloodline. It's more
Yeah, but
like,
like
hey,
what your soul would pick. Like,
like I want to like see what kind of babies can come out, you know.
so you wouldn't want to have like multiple partners as wives or as like girlfriends? Like what do you have in mind?
For me personally, like I think it's more like a partner that I look for is someone that kind of want to hustles too, like has the same beliefs, but at the same time can have her own thing. So it's not like I don't know. I don't look for.
Yeah, well, but maybe you should.
Yeah, I mean it's like a good time, but at the same time, like it's more about like someone that's seeking truth, and either it's a community or it's a person. I think it's the same energy.
Yeah, I just know that like I would rather make love over it than make war over it. That's why like it's all good. Look, there's plenty for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and so like maybe you're looking at this way as like, oh, but that's kind of messed up. Okay, is it really messed up? You know, like who said that messed up? It's like culturally unacceptable. But by the way, not in all cultures. In Incas, by the way, if you look at their, you know, the artifacts that they left, there's so many depictions of threesomes. You know, I bet you they had a traditional like a marriage. You know, one partner, but then lots of guests. And that's because the authentic, instead of what are you gonna sneak behind now and then do it behind the back, they just create an tension and war. And the Machu Picchu guys, the reason, you know what Machu Picchu was like an experiment. They took the creme de la creme of human being knowledge and all the human beings and put there as a incubation to see what happens. It's a human experiment.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
I guess they didn't survive.
No. That's the thing, because they were so ahead of like, look, they genetically engineered potatoes over there to not to produce the poison at this high altitude and stuff like that. I mean, they have some high level stuff over there, you know. Sacred geometry. There's a lot of artifacts on the site of Machu Picchu that you can you watch through to start constellations. So they were definitely in astrology, heaven astrology. All sorts of sciences, and so what's different about them? Culturally, they would accept that because they did not want to have the conflict over it. Because if you accept that in a culture, then you say, instead of doing that behind your back, I can do it right in front of you. and that's how they reduced the conflict over love. There's no need to kill anybody anymore, right? They knew that okay, if we allow this in the culture, there's gonna be these murders, and we're gonna have to have cops and shit and all that stuff. So let's just not allow that violence that arises from the love, and just accept those two chakras together, and second and the fourth, and just keep them in harmony. And that's why there's threesomes everywhere over there. You see, they made love over it instead of war. Simple. And then, and that's
the choice.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to accept that, perhaps because like, oh, you're afraid of this thing. But then when you accept it, then you realize that that's what's the truth.
Well, I like that analogy, and I think there is a sense of healing that comes from just like sharing your body with somebody else.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Sexual healing, man. To the song.
And
let's try that bone out, man. Let's take one peace puff.
Nice. But more so than that, I've been thinking, for example, like
Mike.
Marijuana, right?
Yeah.
Like smoking weed. The reason, like, when you grow weed, if you want to grow really good weed with no seed or things like that, you have to separate the male and female plant. Because if there's a male plant that's very close to the female plants, then it's going to pollinate, and then it's going to attract, and that causes a lot of seed. You don't want to smoke no seed.
Gotcha.
It doesn't burn
so
well.
you don't want the babies on the cannabis babies.
Exactly. So the purposeful separation of male and female hemp plants causes them to have higher THC and make them stronger.
Well, THC is being produced from the anger, it seems.
Yeah.
Because they can't...
They're like calling for their mate and looking for it.
God damn it. It's so... Oh, my Lord. That's interesting.
So, like, extrapolate that to human beings, right? To get the best trait out of a sex is to separate the sexes.
Then the war comes along. And that's why you do.
And that's why you have fraternities, sororities, men, women.
That's deep. You separate the sexes, and then you create the tension. The creativity happens.
And that's how you
and
harvest
productivity
creativity.
happens. That's not necessarily bad, though.
That's not
because it's a dance.
bad.
As long as there's a balance. Because if you go too far into crafts and art, or like...
but can you see how that is in every
then
single
all you
culture?
do is like you welding in the fucking garage for 20 years. That you go too far. You don't have to go that far.
You don't have to go that far.
You're a good artist, but like no, you can also have women, or and vice versa.
So what's the difference between you and like a tree? Like not that much. You share male tendencies when you're around men all the time, and then you want to get some chicas. For example, what's the difference? I'll give you an example of hair, right?
Yeah.
You go to the army, you got the military, they shave your head off. Things like that. And it's just a normal thing, right? I've never really given my hair that much thought, but I've always like, if a guy grows their hair out, it's a big deal. And there's also a lot of like religious people that also grow their hair out. If you look at a tree, it's good. That's good, huh? If you look at a tree, like imagine trimming your hair is like trimming your...
Tingles.
It tingles?
It tingles.
It's a bone marrow. This is a bone pipe.
Yeah, it's a bone pipe from Peru. It's some gangster pipe.
Very nice. But hair is just like leaves. Like you trim hair, you trim leaves. And then they have a function for it. It's like the natural way. Like your body is the trunk of a tree. It's the same thing. Your roots, the roots of a tree are like your legs, and you get information from the earth. And then your higher chakras are like your arms that are like the branches of the trees. And it's the exact same thing.
Wow, so just like the from the down up, that's feminine kundalini energy, and from the up down, that's masculine whatever energy.
You're taking in from the sun.
Yeah.
And
it's also looks like a Taurus. You know the Taurus? Energetically, it seems that that's the polarities that are happening.
Like you pull water from the
The-
ground, you pull
Yeah. The
energy from the sun.
the feminine below and the masculine above, creating that polarity of flow. Is that that energy balance is in the universe in a way. You see, it's imprinted, and that's why we as humans become an exact same thing. It's like when there's a male-female relationship, we have that thing center in the middle, and then these vortexes of energy, these that are happening between the people. That's like the connection, the magnetism between the people. You see, and people connect this way, that way, and that all these connections are just are just nice way to say hello to other souls in whichever way it's necessary to be expressed. You know what I mean? So why to be afraid of that?
I kind of get what you mean. Kind of like got me off at the magnetic part. I mean, I get that people get attracted.
It's because I was talking about yin yang, the polarities of the energies. You know, the South Pole, North Pole. I was saying I was applying exact same thing on human relationship, because if you're feminine and masculine, you have the same effect, polarity. You see, just like Earth has and all the other aspects of the universe.
I see.
That it still remains within, it's not exclusive from that force of nature.
Yeah.
Because we are energetically connected between the genders. We're energetically connected, and the attraction there is energetic. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's something in the air.
Something in the air, and if you want to look at it this way, and in a deep behind the code way, if you're interested, I guess like to each his own. You don't have to go that deep.
What do you mean? Like
after looking at a reality through this lens of it being, mathematical code.
Yeah, sounds like a headache.
Does it though? Like everything makes sense. It does satisfy your, desire.
You just see
for
the same
everything to
patterns
be.
everywhere,
Yeah.
Everything's repeated pattern, and it's just like.
But doesn't it give you a little bit more awareness? Like then you start feeling that field between each other.
Definitely.
And it's like it was always there, but you just didn't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And you thought there's like it's a kind of annoying thing in the background. But it was always there. Now you're putting attention to it. It's like, oh, there's just this field of energy. It's like, oh, I see what that is. There's a little bit of a dance going on.
Yeah, like without saying words per se.
And that creates the drama, all the romantic stories ever told. That's what it does.
Yeah, interesting stuff.
Super deep. How long are we running here?
An hour, 45 minutes.
Oh, okay. So we can roll for 2 hours.
You guys
Yeah.
doing good.
Huh?
You guys doing good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. We can take a break in the middle. But what's it called? I think like once you take a big dose of whatever psychedelics, you come to a place where there is two genders, but there's also the thing behind it, which
Unity.
is unity. But
Yeah.
that means that there is no,
But that's what you're trying to accomplish with your partner.
Of
You're trying to
course.
accomplish the unity. You go into the one. Those two polar energies goes into root, and now it's one.
I have a baby.
And yeah, exactly. So it's like two universes connect, and then another universe is born. Two universes connect, another universe is born. Like that's an interesting pattern. Because every time the kid is born, the universe is born.
Yeah.
You have to simulate the entire perception again.
Of course, yeah. Everyone has their own thing going on in their head, and
They
it's
live in
only one.
This one thought, like not many things that kind of freak me out, but one thought comes close to it. That the reality may be literally not the same. For example, I don't know how this looks like. This color to you looks
Mhm.
like. I don't know. If I try your brain for it, it'll be like, no, that's not purple. What is this? You know? It's like, that's not even the same shape.
Yeah.
Like, you see what I mean? It could be very freaky to try another brain for a size.
To a certain extent. Yeah. You don't
But
know. what they're
psychedelics sometimes show you the other perspective of like what would be the other way of looking at the world. And it would be like, whoa, you know, it's shocking to me because I've never seen it. But how do I know that some people don't live and see things like that?
saying. I mean, a bird might or something.
Yeah. We don't know. But I know what I can experience, and I know what other people can talk and what they say about their experience, right? I don't know how it seemed for them, but I just know that there is a contrast between this reality and then there's other ways of depicting this reality. So at least you know that there are other perceptions of this reality that they do exist. And then you say like, okay, if they do exist, then is that how it is with other people? And you say, oh, holy shit, other people don't see the same thing. So that's when you have a conflict and misunderstanding. It's most of the time it's misunderstanding. You're just seeing exact same thing, but interpreting differently. And of course that's what's going on, because underneath, it's just sacred geometry, man, doing its thing, and you project the entire reality in both of you. So you just like simulated both realities, and if they overlap, then it gets great. You connect, and if those realities don't overlap, then repels.
Like your perception doesn't agree on a certain thing.
Yeah. And you literally get in an argument where sometimes it's very obvious from the side, but not obvious within the relationship. And then you just like get stuck on something. Yeah, it happens a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's for humans, at least.
Yeah, it's for humans. See, we're talking like, oh, these are the humans. Like we're just a bunch of aliens. Look, how do we know though that we're not a bunch of aliens? Shh, don't tell anyone.
There's a point to it, but like birds or dogs or
dude, like
snakes.
dude, if they would want to make you a spy on this planet,
Yeah.
and to collect the data, and because it seems like we're scientists of the human condition, right? If they wanted to pick that data from you and you're hired,
Mm-hmm.
you would not know that you're perfect agent.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to know.
I mean, there's a theory that like white people are aliens.
White people are aliens?
Yeah, because you know how like if you go through
I don't know. That's crazy.
there's two different lineages of humans, right? There's Neanderthals and there's also people that come from a different
Don't you think?
lineage.
Don't you think it's like in the universe when anything can manifest in any way, the behavior would be a better indication of identity?
What do you mean?
Well, it's how you behave, right? And it's like, look at what we're talking about. What's happening like between us?
No,
Not following?
just exchanging.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why? What
Or like
brought
our
us together? In it's the similar point of view from the world. So if you're talking
Mhm.
about take your exterior out of the way, because let's say you could be the alien,
Mm-hmm.
then take my exterior out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Could be the alien. We could be literally two aliens speaking with each other, because why were we aliens? Because we connect on that behavior that is very not specific for the rest of the I'm not saying like we're special, but I'm saying that like if there's any type of people, it's the type of this level of consciousness you're at. That's the only like type that if there's any type for people.
Oh, so you're not talking like a human. That's what makes you alien. Or talk about human topics.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
hey.
Like, why would you, as a human, talk about the things that no other human are interested in?
Sure.
So it's like So there's
Mhm.
no way to disprove that you are behind this. Is not. It's like because I had this idea, and I thought, okay, if some people come over here, start like researching things from their own enjoyment, and figuring things out and researching and just like satisfy some sort of puzzle to resolve. And then you ask, okay, like nobody's even paying you for this, like you are building everything, all your life around this mission of some sort, right? So then what is going on over here?
What is going on over here is just the thing that they enjoy, you know, they get stuck in a loop that
Yeah.
they like.
Well, they are out to resolve a mystery, gather information, otherwise known as gather information.
But if what you perceive you create, like, isn't it like a progress?
Like, there might be a people over here who are information gatherers, and they only what gets them going is just find out more and more of how the reality works over here. Like scientists and researchers of the human condition, what this only desire is just to figure that shit out and perhaps apply it to see it working. That's the weird mission to have in life.
Mm-hmm.
It's data gatherer.
Yeah.
If you're looking from the alien perspective, what would that function of that little being be? It would be gathering data.
Kind of creepy.
So this could be the type of people of data gatherers. And I'm not saying that they're aliens, but they're data gatherers.
They just want to see more and more and more and more of what's going on.
Yeah, many more perspectives of how reality works. Yeah. I see myself more of that.
Yeah, I mean, I
I'm
definitely...
a data gatherer, and underneath it all. Like it's just experience. I want more experience.
Like you just want to keep digging.
Yeah, keep digging, exploring, and things like that. That's what definitely gets me going. It's an adventure too.
Yeah. It's like you want to find out more, you know? But I mean, see, this is my problem with it. Like, I'm learning more and more that everything that I've learned growing up is not real. So it gives me a problem of what's real data to gather unless I gather it directly. And that goes with science as well, you know? Which is experience, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it's so interesting to just explore as many experiences as you can. I actually say that we're headed in now we had information age, before we had gold age and all these ages, and I think there's a new age that is dawning, and it's about experience age. It's the experiential age, where the value of no longer information but experience. We're going away from the information and now we want experience.
Well, isn't experience just harmony with nature? Like, why do we have to make stuff? Like, isn't that part of the problem?
Yeah,
like when nature is perfect as it is, like
exactly.
Why do we make ugly stuff?
If you're just seeking for the experiences, you don't necessarily want to fix the world. Because so you get sort of no longer sucked into that fixing game, but trying to find new experiences, and then it becomes what? It's like more childish, like what the child would do. They just so interested in experience. Touch this, like what is this? It's like they're so interested in experience, and then as adults we stop being interested in experience. So, yeah, that aspect of seeking experience is healthy for the society and humanity.
Oh yeah, definitely. But we're serving somebody else's curiosity. That's what's going on.
Yeah, we're playing somebody else's game. Like I'm not,
Yeah, but as a society,
there is a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. But
like I just want my own land. I want to grow my own fruit, and I want to grow my own fruits and chill and smoke some weed. But like it's such a problem for some people,
Yeah, it's like they
wow.
They want you to belong to their shitty club.
Yeah.
Wow. So no, thank you, man. That smells over here. Yeah. It's like no, you must. No, I don't think so.
No. And then they come after and they knock on, they call you, and you're like, I don't want to pick up. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I mean, that's the loop, that we're all stuck in.
Exactly. That's the loop. That's the loop.
Yeah.
Now what do we do?
Um.
I think we should end this and get something to eat.
And I want to talk about a few things.
You want to talk more?
Yeah.
Go for it then.
I mean, I've been having a lot of thoughts about
A break? Oh, okay.
like what's it called? What really is the driver of keeps people stuck? And the first one is religion. Second one is politics, and the last one is money.
Yeah.
Because the earth itself is abundant, so there
Yeah.
is no need to fight for things.
Yeah.
But someone wants to hog more. But but there's also, like, from what I've learned, I've had to unlearn a lot of things. The more I learn about, like, science, people are now weaponizing science as absolute God or truth when it's just experimentation.
Yeah.
And now, like, things are coming out. For example, a lot of the studies that have been done on human behavior and how this will be done on a mice study, it's coming out that all these mice that the studies have been done on come from the exact same manufacturer.
Yeah.
And there's no, like, diversity in the studies, but now they give people pills based on those results and things like that. And the whole medical system is a sham, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's where people
So
get
much
stuck,
is-
because you're forced in society to separate into different job roles and close
Yeah.
your mind.
Yeah. Wim Hof is obviously demonstrating how you can heal yourself with a little bit of breathing. You know,
Yeah,
like-
just gotta take a breath, you know.
yeah, and it may sound like crazy, right? Like, wow, no, like how is that going to replace 10 pills that I'm taking? And yeah, surprise, it does. And then you realize, oh, holy shit! So this whole industry is just a sham.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like society puts me in this condition. I'm perfectly normal, but society says you're not normal now. I was very normal. It's just cannot be adapted to the society because it's sick.
Yeah, the society itself is fucked up, not
Yeah.
you.
But then
Mm.
they say like, okay, so you seem like you're not happy in society. Something wrong. Like, make you pills. You know what I mean?
The amount of
Joy
people
pills.
on antidepressants from 20 to 30-year-olds today
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
Exactly, because
Like-
you're trying to normalize this weird way of living, which is like so fake. It's not real, man.
Yeah, everyone's just reacting to stimulus.
Yeah.
And
But I believe everybody has a soul. And so then there's that soul underneath is like, oh, I want to play. Let me out.
yeah, but they shut
What
it
the fuck
down
is
with
that?
constant stimulus, right? That's the thing. It's like every moment you keep yourself plugged in.
Yeah.
And when
I
VR
don't know what it's like that, man. Like, I don't have any notifications on my phone.
I know.
I don't know what's going on unless I go out there to look for it. You know? And then when I go out to look for it, I go out to look for it, whatever I consciously decided to go out and look for it.
Yeah, I don't share that either, but at the same time, I see many people around me, and then when I try to interact, it's like they're stuck. And they're all playing the same loop
Yeah.
when you interact. And when you try to show them truth, there's cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, you're like talking bullshit. I'm
Yeah,
like, "Oh,"
yeah.
like,
That happens, man. That happens. It's like that's
and that's most people. And it sucks because it's like family too, where they believe medicine so much. And especially like people that are doctors that I have a problem with as well, because they have, not everyone, a lot of them, like the general, a lot of them don't dig deep. They don't know physics. They don't know chemistry too much.
yeah.
It's like they have a surface understanding of how to practice a certain procedure.
Right.
That doesn't mean that you're an expert
Right.
how the body works.
Yeah,
and how
exactly.
things
You're like a
work in
mechanic of one part.
Yeah,
And it's not everybody doesn't work like a mechanical way.
exactly.
So even that is not exactly where the answer is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sort of misconstrued way of looking at things.
And it's clearly on purpose. And 100 years ago, like, it goes back with weed as well. Like, a big part of why it was illegal or became illegal was in conjunction with the making prohibition of alcohol, because they wanted to prohibit ethanol for fuel, because they can make fuel out of potatoes.
Right, for sure.
And then you can have like beats the petrochemical industry.
Yeah.
So it actually goes hand in hand where before 100 years ago in the US, homeopathy and allopathy, like medicine, was very commonplace. And then they immediately banned it, destroyed it, and created the American Medical Association. That didn't allow any homeopathy and became more about things being practical.
Yeah. Yeah, practical. So it meant going way too much into particles and forgetting that there's energy, the thought, and the kind of it's a very easily proven fact and a system that shows that there's a link between your thought and the actual biological change. You're right, because they did obviously plenty of studies when people were meditating or thinking about something, or like sending some like with good thoughts and vibrations and so on, and then they could actually see neuropeptides being released in the brain, and then neuropeptide goes into pituitary gland and all this other, and it produces the peptide. The peptide goes in and the signals now your biology to change, produce more cells, regenerate cells, and then the signal has been delivered. Okay, so you see how the thought can change the biology, and you can scientifically go step by step and trace it down how it does it. So, and you can observe that. So so if you're really rational, then look at it fully, in the full scope and view. And then you'll be a little bit closer to the truth.
Yeah. There's like neurons in your cardiac muscles as well, like in your heart.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there's a real neural connection.
Exactly. It is whereas neurons, there's electricity. You're like, you are literally in I can check your energy field with electrical equipment.
Yeah, so if that's the thing, right? If you're literally
we're electrical beings behind this physical body. That's what we need to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like zapping things and then your muscles move.
Yeah, exactly.
But if that's the case, aren't you affected by external fields?
Like a ghost within the machine, man. We're just zapping things and things move. We're like, body move here, Yeah.
Throw that guy right now. This comes naturally. But if we're electrical, literally, physically, like, aren't we affected by external electric fields? Like,
we're definitely affected.
Like plants are affected by external electric fields. You put them under Wi-Fi, they don't grow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't give them high-fi after you put them under Wi-Fi.
No, they don't take it anymore.
That's another T-shirt. Yeah, true. And have you seen that video when the phone is vibrating, and while it's vibrating, the ants going in circle around it?
No way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it creates electromagnetic wheel, and they go like in circles. Like, what the hell?
Wow! Like literally in place each one.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So it affects us,
Super affects us. So that's actually I was always asking a question: if solar flare comes towards the Earth, a big, huge electromagnetic field, and there's always different variations in the sun that's happening right now, and it comes in. And what do you think? That people are not going to emotionally affect it in a massive way? That all of us gonna feel something at the same time? And it's just going to be like a mass emotion, and then we just for some reason get in each other's throats for 2 days, and then we're cool again, and so you thought that there's something material that happened to you and that you can link to, but that's just a justification of what's really going on, that we don't see it because we're like a fish in a pond where the whole pond was electrocuted, the whole thing. So that's what I'm saying, that like we're very connected with the entire universe and the emotional
except for Bill Gates. He's trying to block the sun.
Oh, he doesn't like the sun?
He wants to block it using a sheet of calcium something.
What is it? What is he doing? Like this guy's
So
somebody
why
needs to
can you
give him
rationale
some
this?
DMT,
He
man.
actually wants to block the
Oh,
sun
man.
using calcium, whatever, and he wants to spray this powder.
Somebody needs to give him DMT.
He probably does more disgusting stuff, like whatever exists.
Mushrooms. Like, dude, I saw this guy trying to propose to vaccine, which deletes that part in your brain that has a theory of the world.
What?
Yeah, so in order to take out the religious tendencies in people, in order to take out people running into buildings due to religious reasons.
But 9/11 is a scam.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that look at there is no elegance here, man. It just he wants to rip the entire part of the human
Yeah, he
race
wants to make you a
completely.
robot. And he
Yeah.
wants to exterminate people, essentially.
It's like what are you like? That's a oh, I wouldn't want to be in that body.
Yeah, but he's likes to like, I don't know. He's close to Epstein too, so you know how they like babies. So
What? The Epstein Scandal?
yeah, Bill Gates had like a bunch of trips with Epstein on his plane. Even after Epstein died, Bill Gates was taking his private jet to the island.
And so I don't like look, this is going to show how much I follow the news. I don't know almost everything about the Epstein. I just know
I don't know too
he
much,
did something bad. And
but all I know is he used to basically be the pimp or the supplier guy for all like children, and he would take celebrities and famous people to his island, and he would have a house, and then he would film them having
he
sex
would
with
hook up
babies,
them with the weird shit.
and then he would film them and then blackmail them, and that's
Epstein
how.
would have blackmailed them. Oh my god!
And that's how the
what
U.S. government
hell?
works.
That's
Everyone's
so much
blackmailing
drama.
each other,
Fuck. They're just blackmailing each other.
and that's why
What?
nobody wants to speak, because they're all in it.
Oh my god. That's so fucking fucked up. That's so, oh my god. Oh my god.
That's the story. From
Damn. Shit. I didn't need to know that.
yeah. So you know, that's the kind of shit he's into, and the whole crew.
But that's so messed up, man.
Yeah,
But
but
that's
that's what
because
Bill Gates is involved in,
that's
going to
because they-
Africa, and he
is
goes and
that's bec-
vaccinates people and kids, and he takes them.
Dude, oh my god,
You know?
that's disgusting. Listen, like you have to at some point realize that as a human you cannot keep playing the same fucking game because you go fucking crazy. You start doing this shit with kids like that, you know?
Yeah.
So that's
But this
that's
actually
a symptom of what we talked at the beginning. We didn't need to talk about Bill Gates. Well, at the beginning we'd already talked about that's going
No,
to
but
be
let
a
me break
symptom.
it down. Like this actually comes
If you
from
don't level
thousands
up.
of years. Like this, like pedophilia, whatever thing, comes from like ancient Greek culture. That's the thing, and like we've been following it for a very long time, and that's why like we're in this very Roman
What?
/ Greek type of mentality towards the world, and that's what we're taught.
Dude, but like everything
I can show you.
underneath. No, I understand, but everything underneath is a behavior.
Of course, and
And-
that's the ideal towards a certain philosophy and ideology, no?
Yeah,
That forms your behavior.
but there's layer behind it, right?
Like, is there any point of philosophy if you realize that the natural world is just the way it is? Like, no, right? The only reason you philosophize is because you're trying to find a way around it.
Yeah, because you're essentially trying to solve the puzzle because you forgot how everything works and you're now trying to figure out again.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just playing a puzzle with yourself. The universe is playing the puzzle with yourself, and that's consciousness. Well, put that on a t-shirt as well. 3 t-shirts, please.
Yeah. And yeah, another thing is too, like, even yoga. Yoga is also like a big fat lie as well, in terms of, hey, the Hindus made it, and it's the thing that came from 5,000 years ago, blah, blah, blah. and
What
made it
happened with
into-
yoga?
Yoga comes from Babylon and ancient Sumeria.
Uh-huh.
So it comes from way long ago, and then it went to ancient Egypt. And then the Indus Valley civilization learned about yoga from ancient Egypt and Babylon through trade.
Yeah.
And then they made up their own thing. And they said, we made this thing up.
Oh, they said no, as an Indian.
It wasn't an Indian thing at all.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Well,
was-
yeah, like it's a culturally adopted thing. I
But
suppose.
when they tell you, like, the way that they approach it and things like that is not directly learned. It's something they made up.
yeah, and that's where the ancient stuff is the best shit.
Yeah, but not
Yeah,
ancient Hindu.
Like the books. You know, what is these guys would call them?
Book of the Dead.
Yeah, Book of the Dead. But there's man, I can't remember what they call it. But there's a type of people that they were the founders of the mysticism in essence. They carried the secrets already. And then some people may refer them, oh, they probably were aliens and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
aliens.
Yeah, but they were these people who had all the secrets of the universe. And I don't know how they call them. It's not, I can't remember now, but yeah.
Yeah, crazy stuff. I mean, yeah, I think we should just all be a little bit more in harmony with nature.
I think so.
And
Harmony is better.
Yeah.
No need to try one up the universe too. It's like leave the things as they are. It's great. Yeah, and another thing, we can't like make everything perfect, but we can just make things closer to the balance. So there's no like too much of that aggression, violence. You know, the amplitude, just keep it down a notch. There's always gonna be, you know, some wiggle room, and things are not gonna be always perfect. But it's a cute type of problems where people had in the 50s and 60s. You know, the car broke down. That's like a very cute type of problems.
Yeah, I mean, there are still very
But
real
now people
problems
are
in the
like,
world.
You know, questioning their identities, and they're fighting identity wars, and like that's a different problem than the car broke down.
Yeah.
You know, different level problem.
So what do you project for the next 10 years? Where are we going to be? Is it going to be...
Oh
like
man, I think there's gonna be a huge change in the technology department. Like I think virtual realities are going to be much better. I think a lot of the meetings are going to happen in the virtual reality setting.
Oh, isn't that lame?
Well, it's not necessarily. But have you ever tried virtual reality?
Yeah.
Dude, like you know, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's nuts.
I've taken acid
Like,
under VR.
Look, you
as
can be in
well.
the other
Like,
part of the world, and we can chill in the same room, and just like chat and play games with each other. Like that's nuts.
Yeah, it's
Like
pretty
we never
cool.
had that before. That's different world within the world. That's a pretty big deal. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
So anyway, so virtual reality ends up saying like that's going to become slowly replacing biology. Look at what's happening right now. There's a tendency that it's people are going on Zooms, and they have virtual interactions more. I bet you the online sex went up through the roof during that, you know, and the businesses like virtual reality is going to be able to reproduce the same experience as in a physical proximity to each other. So that existence is emerging. I mean, I don't have a doubt about that. How long it's going to take, I don't know, but it's within 10 years horizon. So that's the reality we'll have to look forward to. And do we want this reality to be controlled as just as this physical reality, or this reality going to be fought for and to be free? You see, and say like, okay, you took over physical realities. No, we're gonna build a virtual reality that's even better. And it's in a way, kids like growing up already doing that. They live in the video games most of their lives, and that's to them that's more real than the physical. They're not interested in the physical thing.
Yeah, but that's going to kill all of their intuition and access to higher understanding. Because once your senses are constantly stimulated, you're literally trapped in the physical.
Yeah.
Because everything derives from your senses and what you take in.
Yeah.
And the whole point of meditation is shutting it off. And when you don't have shutting it off, you never access it.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, so you kind of stuck in that game in 2 levels. By 2 levels. Yeah, but I think that I think they may actually live happier lives, you know. And if you can extend the video games into business meetings, if you can extend to, you know, dinners and stuff like that, like if you can extend that, then you can see how that can slowly affect, for sure, our reality. Like if you can have a virtual reality where you can have a almost indistinguishable or maybe indistinguishable from the reality, and you can have any experience you want with another human being, an AI, you know, wouldn't you go for it?
Depends on how much drugs I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think you would. Imagine like, and that's when the physicality of it kind of goes away, and then your avatar becomes more of a thing. Again, you can observe that happening already. People are seeing themselves more as their avatar that they created through the social media. It's just completely fictitious, different persona. That's not who you are by definition. So you created another being that exists now.
Yeah, it's separate from yourself.
Yeah, because it's not you. Because that's I saw that. I thought like, oh, these people seems genuine, you know. But then I kind of saw that. Oh shit, no. That's just That doesn't mean that that they're genuine, you know. So
let's see.
Not necessarily, but that's why it's hard to pick. It's best obviously to pick out the ones that are genuine and deal with those, and you get the best time this way.
Yeah,
This is the best. All right, Alaa. Man, like that was the 2 hours and
18 minutes.
Okay, perfect timing. Thanks for showing up.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. And man, as always, I like to digging deep into the deep stuff. But I don't know, we went pretty deep, and we're gonna have to slice that up into short videos and see how people respond to all the crazy theories.
Absolutely,
Simulation,
yeah.
holograms and stuff.
I think it's important for people to give thought to things that they don't have the time to think about.
Yeah.
And also not forget history, because history is getting changed every day. And if you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going.
Yeah, but they're trying to delete that. They're removing statues and stuff.
Oh, not just statues. So is YouTube, so is Google, so is Wikipedia. Wikipedia has been updating its pages on everything for the past few months.
Oh man, seriously?
Yes.
So the truth is being deleted? That's not good.
It's a book burning.
Oh, it's a digital book burning? What a balls. That's why, they can't burn. When the peer-to-peer, like, you can't burn fucking torrent.
Yeah, like
That's so, man, see, that's...
IPFS and...
It's always, if things is decentralized, you're gonna love it. Like, that's what it is. If things are centralized, you're gonna hate it. I mean, people need to figure that shit out sooner than later.
And we need to get through this gap of when things are getting deleted to that place without losing too many people to propaganda.
You think we're gonna have like this class? Of course we will.
Of course we will.
We're gonna have next 10 years class warfare. That's how we're gonna remember those. Yeah. It's gonna be a blast.
Literally.
Literally. Yeah. So that shit's gonna happen, man. Like, and I don't know how to, I have few ideas of how to prepare for that, but I don't know exactly which one to pick.
I would say pick the one where you grow your own food, because they're even trying to vaccinate food now. So even if you can get away from the vaccine, your food's not going to get away from the vaccine.
And tell me, how is the virtual reality is not going to be your escape?
Yeah,
it's going to be escape, man. It would be like, fuck this, man. Like, this is not fun. You play this game. I played this game.
Perhaps.
I mean, I'm considering going back into gaming. I used to be a huge gamer.
Yeah, VR is
Huge,
getting
huge gamer.
super cool right now.
Like 2 months straight, World of Warcraft.
Nice.
Yeah, 2 months straight, man. Like went through, figured out the economy, got rich.
Right? Yeah, go trade a little bit on auction.
Yeah. I would buy pearls on Monday and sell them on Friday.
Wow.
Yeah, because Friday a lot of players. The price goes like 5 times or sometimes more. I was a pearl dealer for sure. Everybody would come because I know that they needed those freaking pearls to make something. I know what they're making. They can't hide from me. So that's why they come for the pearls. And that's how I got super wealthy. Dude, like I had a great time. Look at me. Like I'm 38? I forgot the number. But this many years, and the happiest things was around the games for me.
That are fun, huh?
Yeah, like in even events around that. I remember the restaurants I would go to. I remember the food that I would eat. I remember everything's so much more vivid. You know what I mean? Because you're in that mode of playing game, and you just relax, so fun, and it's a precious little experience. Yeah, and I always learn a lot about the economy and
Oh, for sure.
and human behavior too. Like just over there, you can see the beggars, you can see the people who figure shit out. It was interesting experience to see how people relate. And dude, we had sometimes we would have these raids that we would do, and then we have the same people. It became like a thing because we play at the same time, so it became like a group. We all get together. Hey, let's do some stuff. And there was such an experience once when they said, hey, there's some orcs over there, in this zone that's supposed to be ours. They're trying to take over, doing the raid or whatever they're doing, And it's like, let's go, because they killed one of our friend of a friend of a friend. So he's asking for the revenge, So we all gathered everything that we got, all the friends, and we're all like running towards these mofos, and they see just the army of like these characters coming to whoop your ass. And it was such a great feeling, that camaraderie of like, we're all like attacking and we feel so powerful, and this is it. That's why I spent the last month, for this little moment right there, So, and you get that, and then everybody's ecstatic, and it's like, oh my God, that was so gangster. And so you have that type of experience that like you don't have it in life.
Sure. You can.
But it's not. It's more real almost. It's like in the terms that of enjoyment is much more genuine.
There's less risk.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, of course. But the human behavior as well in the games is super strange. Like for example, because now there's no consequences about like the bodily harm, for example, right, in a game. So there's this virtual reality game, super fun to watch people play, is the prison guard experiment. The prisoners so you boot up and you don't know there's traitor in between your group, and so there's this politics. Then you don't know if your friend is actually a traitor or not. So there's all sorts of like drama around that, and people are like shooting, cutting with knives each other, and just nobody's business, right? So there's like a lot of violence because there's no repercussion for that. But if they would actually feel something there, and in their sensation, they would be like, oh, it means something, So I'm not just gonna willy-nilly this. But because there's no consequences, that's where that behavior arises. So it seems like human behavior is almost like it flows. What kind of structure you build, it flows to that structure.
I see.
Yeah.
Like the rules dictate the game.
Yeah. It's almost like a script or a software running. But at some, it's different. It seems different. There's some codes that has self-reflection capabilities, or maybe somewhere in the spectrum. Yeah. So is that how we're saying goodbye? Going into another rabbit hole?
Gaming, man.
Gaming, man. I'm probably gonna play a video game.
Don't even be a specialist topic today. Let's leave it.
Yeah. All right, man. All right, so we're gonna thanks for watching. If you're still with us, you're a champion, you're a trooper, and you are it. Take care. Good night.